morning and welcome to You and Your Young Child. I'm Sheila Biggs and my guest today is Sheryl Davidson. And Sheryl, I used to live in your neighborhood and
Yes.
you used to have daycare.
Yes.
But, and I always watched you with your daycare kids. You did such a wonderful job.
Oh, well, thank you.
But now, where do you work?
I am the youth librarian at the Abilene Public Library, and I've been there since 2001.
Very good. Librarians are very, very special people, especially librarians for young people.
Yes.
Okay, so what kind of activities do you plan for as the youth librarian?
Well, we do have activities for the school-age children,
Okay.
as well as the tweens and teens, but this time of year is one of my favorite time of years because I get to go back to my roots and I get to really focus on the younger children.
Okay, very good. So what kind of activities are you doing for the young children?
We do story times,
okay.
And at those story times we sing songs, we do finger plays, of course we read books, we act out the stories, but we also play with things like blocks and puzzles and water, just a variety of stuff. A
variety of things. And for the young child, this is called We Read. Is that the name of the program that you have on a regular basis?
Correct. It is. Okay. We Read story times, and we hold them on Mondays and Tuesday mornings at 10:15.
Okay, very good. And you do more than just. In fact, you don't teach children to read.
No, we don't.
So what is the purpose of We Read in these activities then?
Well, the We Reads, some of the purposes is just to get the children together and learn how to act in a big group. But another focus that I work on is introducing the children to and laying some of those foundational stones that teachers then will build on when it's time to teach the children to learn to read. But there are 6 skills that are good for the children to have laid, and then their success is so much better and easier when the time comes to teach them to read. Okay, so
there are 6 kind of building blocks that the kids need to have.
Right.
Okay, so that's kind of the basis of what your activities are planned around.
Correct.
Okay, very good. You want to tell us about those 6?
Certainly, and I do have these cards that were made up by the Johnson County Library, but it was based on a nationwide program called Every Child Ready to Read, and it was kind of difficult because they used scientific terms like print motivation, and so librarians and parents were kind of lost, but then Johnson County got a hold of it and made up some very cute, fun icons to help remember what the 6 skills are with some very easy, fun phrases. The State Library of Kansas has adopted it, and it's known as 6 Skills by 6 Years. 6 by 6. Okay,
it looks like the monkey blowing bubbles. That's a lot of fun, and in fact it is. That's the skill.
It is, and the monkey blowing the bubbles reminds us to have fun with books, because those positive feelings about books, and a child watching you share the joy of reading with them, and you enjoying reading yourself models, and so they get excited and they want to learn to read because it's just a fun, happy thing to do. So having fun with books is a very critical and probably one of the most important of those 6 skills to lay.
Okay, so tell us about some other of the skills.
Well, another skill is notice print everywhere. And they chose to have the mama kangaroo with the baby Joey in her pouch, and we see that there are signs behind them pointing different directions. And the skill is to notice print everywhere. The sign reminds you that when you're in the grocery store, when you're driving down the street, just notice signs and talk to your children about why those signs are there and what they're telling you that's important, and then they will start noticing signs.
So you start understanding that the written word is important to help you navigate the world.
Correct. And if you look at the pouch, the baby Joey has something in his hands. And so it's really important to give books to young children so that they can learn how to open the book and turn the pages and even go the end and close it when they're done.
When they're done.
Because just having that skill and understanding how the printed word does work in book form is very critical.
Okay, very good. And the next one?
Well, talk, talk, talk. And on talk, 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 we have a toucan. And we all know that toucans like to talk, talk, talk. So it's to remind you to just talk a lot with your children and talk about anything. Because what that does is builds vocabulary, and studies show that the children that have a large vocabulary at age 3 do much better in the elementary ages in school than those that have very small vocabularies at 3. And the beauty of books is that quite often the authors will use words that you may not normally use in your everyday life. So the books help you introduce the children to vocabulary words.
Okay, very good. So like even taking your child for a walk, talk to them about what they see around them and help them explore.
Correct.
Very often then you find those kinds of things in a children's book.
Right, right.
Kind of reinforce that.
And just this week at the story time, one mother, well, the 2 children had a little squabble, so the mother was trying to teach the child to say, "I'm sorry." And so the young child said, "I'm sorry," but then she says, "Now wait a minute, say it sympathetically." And I thought, yes, use that big word and teach what sympathy really is.
Yeah.
And so I applauded her and told her, "Good job."
Very good. Okay, what's next?
Well, tell stories about everything, and you can start this from the time they're itty-bitty in your arms, and then when they start making cooey noises at you, just treat it like they're having a conversation with you. And is that right? Well, tell me a little bit more. And then that will just naturally progress when the child gets a little bit older. Narrate what you're doing to the children. Encourage them to narrate back to you what they are doing or even have done at story time, of course, or at grandma's house, whatever. And after you're done with the book, ask, well, what happened at the beginning of the book? What happened in the middle of the book? What happened at the end of the book? Because as we know, stories and even life has a beginning and a middle and an end.
Okay, very good. And then?
Here we have a peacock, and he has his feathers, but each of these feathers has a letter on them, and that reminds us to look for letters everywhere. Now, the littlest guys aren't gonna quite get letters, but shapes are a good thing to introduce to them because letters are made up of shapes. And so with the youngest ones, introduce them to all the variety of shapes, and eventually they'll start being able to be discretionary and see that this T has a line up here and a line down here, but this E has a line on the side and 3 going this way. Yeah. And so it's just all a process.
My great nephew said, okay, a B is circle and straight line, or is it straight line circle? Yeah, and it was straight line circle, obviously.
Straight line circle, yeah. but yeah, shapes.
The shapes.
Yep, start with the shapes.
Yeah, very good.
And then the last one is, along with having fun with books, is probably one of my favorites. It's take time to rhyme. And here we see a goat on a boat in a moat eating oats.
Ah, okay.
And songs are made up of different sounds, and quite often the syllables will be a different note. And what that does is help introduce children to the fact that words are made up of smaller sounds. And when you learn to read, you have to learn to read the smaller sounds.
Yeah, okay.
And so rhyming and just having fun with words is a good way to break apart words into the different sounds.
Okay, very good. So this is what we're working on at the library for the young children.
Right.
You have some partners. that you work with at the library, like parents as teachers?
Correct, correct. They will be coming to the library during Kansas Reads to Preschooler Week, which will take place the third week in November, November 16th through 22nd. And we will have a very special story time at that time. Now, Kansas Reads to Preschoolers is an annual statewide event where one book is chosen, and the hope is to have every child all across the state of Kansas have this one book read to them and read with them. It is called Is Everyone Ready for Some Fun? And on the front we see 3 cows, and these cows are just always loving fun. Well, in the book there's also this chicken, and this chicken has this couch, this sofa. And the cows want to do all kinds of stuff on the sofa, which really brings up a lot of different feelings in the chicken and creates some conflict, but it's a lot of fun. The book itself has these speech bubbles. So as you're reading the book, it's really easy to go under and show the children that you're reading print, one of the skills. So we get some social emotional, we get some print motivation and some print awareness all going on all at one time.
Very good. All right. Anything else?
There's a lot of things. The
backpacks.
Backpacks are something that parents can check out and take home with them and work with their child on all those 6 skills that I talked about. This one would be for your 4- and 5-year-old. We have it in the blue. That's how I know which age it is. And it's got caps for sale in it. And sure, this is an old staple, so you probably remember how the hat seller had the hats on the top of his head, and the monkeys, there's monkeys in here having fun, and they take the hats off the man's head, and he scolds them, and it's kind of a humorous book, but the 6 skills, there's different instructions in there on how to get the different skills going on. This one is in a green backpack, and those are for the 0 through 3-year-old child.
So it's never too early?
Oh, it is never too early. And these type of books tend to have, or backpacks tend to have the board books in them that
kids can't tear.
That the infants and the babies can't tear. So it's one of those things, you're encouraged to hand them to the babies and the toddlers so that they can open and shut them. And this one has eggs in it, and the eggs have different expressions on their face. So you can introduce children to the different emotions that they might be feeling. And this last one that I brought today is Go Away Big Green Monster, and in it is the book Go Away Big Green Monster, and this puppet mitt that you can add eyes to, and a nose to, and a mouth to, and sharp white teeth, and then you get to tell it to go away, and bit by bit the monster goes away, and that just really empowers the kids. Well,
that sounds like lots of fun stuff.
It is.
Yeah, very good. Anything else?
Just stop by the library. We are open many hours throughout the course of the week, 9 to 6 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 9 to 7 on Thursdays, 9 to 5 on Fridays, and 9 to 4 on Saturdays. But if you have a library card, then you can check out anything.
And library cards are free. All you need to do is register.
They are, and we are so privileged to live in a community that has a lot of positive feelings and a desire to have a good library. And so we do have a very good library.
A very nice library. And for the children, lots of things to do down there.
Yes, there are.
Yes, there are. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about early literacy. I think it's one of the most important things for young children to be exposed to for success in school and in life. So thank you, Sheryl, for coming,
so
and very happy to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.